Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on Mitv. I'm Victor Daniels. In the news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has announced that Nigeria will co-host the Investopia Investment Summit with the UAE in Lagos next February. Speaking at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, Tinubu sealed a comprehensive economic partnership agreement with the UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, targeting a trade in renewables, infrastructure, and more. The president hailed it as a historic aiming to unlock billions in green finance and boost the non-oil exports, which have surged 21%. He invited the global investors to join Nigeria's push for net zero by 2060 and opportunities in the lithium mining. President Tinubu also spotlighted Nigerians' push for $30 billion annual Green Finance Electricity Act reforms, a $500 million renewable fund, and a $750 million World Bank program, reaching a 17.5 million people with a net zero by the 2060 and booming a non-oil export up to 21%. Tinubu urged a fairer global finance system and open doors for lithium investment with local value addition. Over $50 billion in pledges signal Nigerians' reform momentum. And at the 2026 Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week, Tinubu witnessed the signing of a landmark comprehensive economic partnership agreement with the UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed.
But local processing and value addition, thus creating jobs and strengthening industrial capacity at home in Nigeria. You are very, very welcome. Nigeria is ready to do business with you. It's easy in, easy out. We just want value addition. Your Excellencies, the foundation of every modern economy is electricity. As an emerging economy in the global south, we understand the delicate balance between industrialization and decarbonization, so that one is not pursued at the expense of the other. We are calling for a fundamental shift in global financial architecture, a move away from the restrictive requirement of sovereign guarantees, which unfairly penalize developing countries. Instead, the focus should be on blended finance and first loss capital mechanism that allow private sustainable capital flow direct into green projects without straining national balance sheet. It can be done. Nigeria acknowledges its growing strategic partnership with the UAE, particularly in advancing integrated sustainable solutions in renewable energy and clean power investments. Sustainable infrastructure and innovative financing, climate smart agriculture and food system, technology transfer, capacity building, and green innovation. We welcome deeper engagement with UAE, sovereign investors, development partners, and private sector leaders to accelerate flagship projects that reflect all system goals.
Nigeria stands poised for a concrete climate action and major economic gains at the Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week. The Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuga said the event coming right after the COP summit in Brazil will transform the climate pledges into a real funding and projects. Tuga highlighted a high-level bilateral between President Bola Tinubu and UAE leader Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, top on the agenda, signing the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or the CEPA. President Tinubu is going to have a bilateral with His High Highness Mohammed bin Zayed, adding that one of the themes to be discussed is the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which is expected to be signed during that bilateral agreement. The minister also noted that this deal will safeguard investors on both sides as the UAE businesses seek protection for their Nigerian ventures, while it shields Nigerian enterprises and workers in Dubai, upholding the dignity of Nigerians abroad. It was further disclosed that talks will also zero in on harnessing Nigerians' vast gas reserves to end the power outages. Tuga, however, noted the ongoing pipelines, licensing rounds, and new investments to convert gas into reliable electricity.
The United Arab Emirates, that's His Highness Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and one of the things to be discussed there is the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, which is expected to be signed during that bilateral agreement. So this sort of concretizes some of the discussions that have been going on and some of the investment opportunities, because a lot of investors from the UAE side are saying they want that agreement to be signed so that they ensure their investments will be protected once it's signed and they come in with the investments. On the Nigerian side, it also protects the investment of Nigerians. That, you know, we have a lot of Nigerian businesses doing business in Dubai. Some actually even have factories and so forth. So this further protects them, and it also dignifies the Nigerian. For us, we want to ensure that the dignity of Nigerians is upheld, and Nigerians are respected wherever they go to invest, wherever they go to visit. So
you talked about some agreements coming up.
Us to power. So now we have a lot of pipelines being constructed. We have even a licensing round going on for acreage. That means more businesses will invest further in exploration and then subsequently, of course, production. So that is one aspect. There's trade in general. We do a lot of trade back and forth, agricultural commodities. We do manufacturing from both sides. So
the Vice President Kashim Shettima has charged the Nigerian public servants to remain selfless and committed to excellence, stressing the enduring legacies and service that are sustained by daily discipline, consistency of effort, and strength of character. Senator Shettima spoke in Abuja on Tuesday at a colloquium organized to mark the 50th birthday of Hadiza Bala Usman, the special advisor to the President on Policy and Coordination and head of the Central Delivery Coordination Unit. In a statement issued by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, the Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nwokocha, Shettima said the most impactful records in public service are built through resilience and a steady commitment to excellence, regardless of the challenges inherent in building durable institutions. Eulogizing the celebrant, Shettima described Bala Usman as a mirror, not only for the northern Nigerian girl, but for the nation at large, noting that her public service legacy was neither built on spectacle nor sustained by applause. He added that Bala Usman earned her influence through a rare blend of grace and grit, a clarity guided by courage and a deliberate commitment to excellence that has helped shape Nigerians' national direction. The Vice President noted that her journey was particularly significant given the scarcity of role models for ambitious young women in parts of the country, stressing that her rise provided a proof that such ambition is not only permitted but attainable through hard work and conviction.
As in public service. At 50, Hadiza Bala Usman exemplifies what it means to give oneself fully to the service of country. Fresh out of school, he did not wait for permission to matter. He studied the system, understood its demands, and earned her place through consistency of effort and strength of character. Our celebrant's life draws us into a deeper reflection. It asks us to consider the cost of becoming the person we hope our children will one day emulate, or in whose shadow they might find the courage to grow. She is the daughter of the unforgettable, irrepressible Dr. Yusuf Bala Usman, a prince who owned his princely roots and privileges, an extraordinary intellectual who lived a life of purpose, a man who committed his years to the struggle for justice, for the people, and for the nation. I committed to memory the entire speech he delivered at the defunct Citizens Lecture on the National Question. His speech was titled, "The National Question Beyond Fairy Tales." It was later on transformed into a book, the inheritance of courage that she got did not fade with time. It took root. It shaped our celebrant sense of duty and explains the steadiness that has marked her public life. There is no doubt that Hadiza's place in our public service history is secure. This is so because it was not built on spectacle, nor did it rely on applause. What he has become was a product of decisions taken quietly, responsibilities carried fully, and institutions strengthened with care.
Sacrifice and steadfastness has inspired many, particularly women and young Nigerians, to believe in the power of competence, integrity, purposeful and meaningful leadership. You exemplify the finest virtues of patriotism, integrity and selfless service, deploying your vast experience and intellect in the service of a stronger, more efficient, and more prosperous Nigeria. As you celebrate this landmark birthday, I pray that Almighty God grants you good health, renewed strength, wisdom, and many, many years of impactful service to our dear country. May the years ahead be filled with continued fulfillment, greater accomplishments, and abiding joy as you remain a pillar of support to the President and a valuable asset to the nation. Your mandate cuts across many segments of the service, and that is why you are constantly in my office. We exchange ideas, and of course we formulate many issues together. Sister, my warmest felicitation to you. You must accept.
But serious and deeply institutional in her approach. Now, this colloquium is therefore rightly framed not as a celebration of personality, but as a reflection on leadership, legacy, and service. It invites us to consider what it means to govern effectively in complex environments, to build institutions that endure, to deliver results without compromising principle, and to remain grounded while not power. Hadith, for me, and to me, is an unsung hero, a quiet achiever who prefers to work quietly in the background without recognition whilst achieving much. She is a rare combination of beauty and brains. My dear sister, as you mark this milestone, I thank you for your service, your courage, and for reminding a generation that public leadership can be principled, disciplined, and humane. At 50, you stand at a point of deepened influence, continued relevance, and earned authority. The examples of leadership you have set will continue to inform conversations about governance, about political and administrative leadership, and about what it truly means to serve.
To be here. There are a lot of young women and young men that always meet me and ask me about, we look up to you, can we have a word with you, can you? So a lot of them are here, and I feel truly humbled that you're all able to come here today and celebrate me. I'm not one that likes to celebrate myself, but today I'm here listening, and as she said, I cried because I really feel very humbled by all of you here. Thank you very much. Bashir Dabo has been instrumental to this, and I can't thank him enough. My team in my office, my colleagues, Comrade Adams that spoke about my dad, and I am a true daddy's girl, a real daddy's girl. And when she was saying it, like she hit the spot. I am a daddy's girl, and I miss my daddy so much. So thank you all for coming today, and I truly appreciate everyone. There are a lot of people that I'm not able to mention. Former Attorney General Adoke has been a strong anchor supporter of me all through my dramas across MPA, coming into the government, and also the aspects of my life that speak to the politics, election planning, with Comrade spoke to aspects of things that not a lot of people are aware about how much involved I am in election planning from 2015 to date. And I would like to thank everyone for coming. I really appreciate it. I'm touched from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all for coming, and God bless us all.
The federal government has expressed willingness to collaborate with the Turkish government to deepen relationships in the areas of visa applications, approvals, and business opportunities for their respective citizens. The Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunjojo, stated this in Abuja shortly after he received the Turkish ambassador to Nigeria, Mr. Mehmet Pori, on a courtesy visit. Dr. Tunjojo and the Turkish envoys discussions focused on strengthening the bilateral relations, particularly in visa facilitation and approvals, as well as business mobility and consular matters. Dr. Tunjojo described the meeting as substantive and timely, noting that Nigeria and Turkey share a strong historical and cultural ties that provide a solid foundation for deeper collaboration. The minister, in a statement by the head of press and public relations in the ministry, Mrs. Mary Ali, reaffirmed Nigerians' commitment to a smart, structured, and practical approach to international cooperation that supports people-to-people contact and legitimate business engagement. And the establishment of lithium processing and gold refining plants across the country is positioning Nigerians as Africa's leading mineral hub and a critical global partner in minerals essential for the transition to green energy. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, disclosed this at a meeting with the Saudi Arabian Minister of Industry and Mineral Resources, Mr. Ibrahim Al-Khurayef, ahead of the Future Minerals Forum in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. A statement issued by Shengu Tomori, Special Assistant on Media to the Minister in Abuja on Tuesday, quoted Alake to have said Nigerians' value addition policy is already yielding a tangible result with the establishment of a refining plant in Lagos. 3 additional gold refineries at various stages of development, and a $600 million lithium processing plant in Nasarawa State ready for commissioning. The minister commended Saudi Arabia for its pivotal role in expanding opportunities for collaboration among governments across Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and Europe through the Future Minerals Forum, stressing that Nigeria is eager to deepen its partnership with the kingdom by leveraging on areas of comparative advantage in solid minerals development. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, has announced the disbursement of 2.53 billion naira each to universities, 1.87 billion naira to polytechnics, and 2.06 billion naira to colleges of education under its 2026 intervention allocations. The Executive Secretary of TETFund, Sonia Chanel, disclosed this on Tuesday in Abuja at the 2026 Stakeholders Workshop with heads of beneficiaries institutions. He said a total of 271 tertiary institutions will benefit from the annual direct disbursement, which represents 90.75% of the fund's total allocation for 2026. Echano explained that the direct funding component consists of 50% annual disbursement and 40.75% of special interventions, while designated projects and funds account for the 9.07% and 0.18% respectively. Correspondent Miriam Inakiman reports that the intervention are targeted at strengthening infrastructure, research, innovation, and academic programs across beneficiary institutions. As part of efforts to deepen academic collaboration and digital access, the TETFund also unveiled a Nigerian research and education network aimed at expanding access to global academic and research resources. Additional interventions will cover the ICT development of student hostels, laboratories, campus security, and establishment of centers for robotics, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity. Speaking at the workshop, Chairman of the TETFund Board of Trustees, Aminu Masari, said the fund's mandate has evolved beyond mere support to a position of responsibility in the development of tertiary education.
TETFund is here to support, but this support has gone beyond support but responsibility, as if. So I think that's why it is important, very, very important, that the public is involved in managing critical institutions.
Cities will get 2.525 billion naira each. All polytechnics will get 1.871 billion naira each. And all colleges of education will get 2.056 billion naira each. These funds are meant to strengthen critical physical infrastructure, enhance academic programs, boost research and innovation, and drive overall transformation in Nigeria's tertiary education sector.
That much is also desired, both from TETFund and the beneficiary institutions, but with respect to project quality. I'm sure that Vice Chancellors, Provost, and Rectors will agree with me that many of the projects that we have on our campuses cannot equate to the amount of money that have been voted for them. So we must do something about that.
The heads of institutions, you are highly challenged to make use of the funds given to you judiciously, expeditiously, so that when you expedite actions, you can request more in clear way.
Over the years, TED Fund interventions have significantly enhanced infrastructure development, academic staff training, research and innovation, library development, and the general learning environment across our universities and other tertiary institutions. These interventions have contributed immensely to improving quality assurance, relevance, and global competitiveness of our institutions.
The United States has delivered military supplies to Nigeria security agencies to bolster security operations in several parts of the country. This was disclosed in a post via X on Tuesday by the United States Africa Command, AFRICOM. The federal government has said that the U.S. government affirmed its readiness to deepen security cooperation with Nigeria, including the provision of enhanced intelligence support, defense equipment and articles to reinforce the ongoing operations against terrorist and violent extremist groups in the country. Last November, a federal government dispatched a delegation to Washington aimed at strengthening security partnership between the two countries and opening new avenues for cooperation. Led by the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, the delegation met with senior officials across the U.S. Congress, with the White House Faith Office, the State Department, the National Security Council, and the Department of War. And Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde has described the current year 2026 as pivotal, being the prelude to 2027, when the general elections will hold. The governor, who said this during the annual interfaith prayer session to commemorate the commencement of the new year, also called on the residents of the state to take security matters seriously to ensure that the state remains safe. Governor Makinde said, as the political season draws close, the people of the state should be wary of candidates who would be making unrealistic promises, and noting that following the impressive performance of his administration, residents should look forward to a member of his team taking over from him to steer the ship of the state to greater development in 2027. Makinde promised to continue to work for the progress of the state while ensuring the well-being of the people. He admonished the residents to remain watchful and vigilant to ensure security, peace and order in the state. The governor tasked the residents to always say something to the authority once they notice any suspicious activities. Earlier in her welcome address, the head of service, Mrs. Olubumi, appreciated the Governor Makinde for his steadfastness and consistency in delivering the people-centered development programs across the state, stressing that his administration is anchored on the timeless principle of good governance and accountability. In the same vein, the Oyo State Chairman, Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Kayode Martin, who spoke on behalf of the other labor unions, said the labor centers would not accept any regression in workers' welfare, as Governor Seyi Makinde has set the standard for the next administration in the state.
As we go through the year, I'm vigilant, especially lórí ọ̀rọ̀ security. But security is everybody's responsibility. Tẹ̀bẹ̀ tí mo fẹ́ bẹ̀ ni pé tẹ́ bá rí anything nínú agbègbè wa, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, say it to the authorities.
I wish to therefore reiterate at this point the need for both the political leadership and career officers to continue to see themselves as co-travelers in the shared responsibility of governance. Governance succeeds where collaboration thrives. As one of the African proverbs says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
If you are to stand here to count all the good deeds of His Excellency towards the people of the state and most especially workers, time will not permit us. But we must acknowledge you have given much to the workers in the state. So we are here today to say thank you. We really appreciate you. On minimum wage, we were number 34 out of 36 states. Today we are proud to say we are number 4. We are number 4. Even states that were any more than Oyo State, one Sowo to Oyo State. We appreciate you. God be with you. Isoleto.
Leaders of the All Progressive Congress in Oyo State have resolved to mobilize a record number of votes for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 2027 general elections, signaling an early and coordinated consolidation of party structures across the state. The call was made during the continuation of the 14th Federal Constituency tour jointly organized by the Renewed Hope Ambassadors in collaboration with the Oyo State chapter of the APC, covering the Ibadan Northeast, Ibadan Southeast, and Ibadan Northwest, Ibadan Southwest federal constituencies. And the tour was jointly led by former First Lady of Oyo State, Florence Chimobi, Oyo State Ambassador for Renewed Hope, Senator Teslim Folarin, Minister of Power, Chief Adebayo Adelabu, and other key stakeholders. Speaking during the engagement, Senator Folarin said the federal constituency tour was designed to strengthen the internal cohesion, rebuild confidence within the party structures, and lay a solid foundation for early and disciplined mobilization ahead of the 2027 polls. The former First Lady of Oyo State, Mrs. Achimobi, urged the party leaders and supporters to remain united, stressing that cohesion and discipline were vital to sustaining the APC's strength in the state. In their remarks, Senator Buhari Ali and Akitunde described the federal constituency tour as timely, noting that it had helped to rebuild confidence within the party structures. Buhari urged the party members and supporters to prioritize voter registration and continuous voter registration (TVR), stressing that early registration, unity and discipline mobilization would be critical to securing victory for President Tinubu in the 2027 general election.
You can see, for me, what this tour has done is to unite members in a way that has not been seen before, and that is wonderful. Even people who are not speaking terms before, they, because you go on tour, eat together, sleep together, and the crowd getting bigger and bigger. And it's very organic. It's not like we pay their people to come. No, people are just interested in the party. People are interested in ensuring Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Firstly, it's only when we are united that we can win elections. So it's important for the unity to be there. And we have to send a message that President Bola Tinubu is doing very well, and he needs a second term to consolidate all the good works he's doing.
Everyone in Oyo State APC are now one, and we are all working towards the same goal. There is no issue of misunderstanding any longer among the aspirants or among the stakeholders in Oyo State again.
And as preparation intensifies for the June 28 governorship elections, a federal high court sitting in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State has sacked Wole Oluyede as the People's Democratic Party's governorship candidate and ordered a rerun of the party's primary election. Justice Babs Kwewumi, in his ruling, upheld allegations of irregularities raised by Prince Funsho Ayeni, who challenged the conduct of the primary. Ayeni told the court that the party manipulated the approved delegate list on the day of the election, a development he said undermined transparency, internal democracy, and fairness within the PDP. Reacting to the judgment, The party's deputy governorship candidate, Deji Ogunsakin, said the PDP would appeal the ruling. Meanwhile, a former state chairman of the party, Alaba, has called on the PDP national leadership to act in the interest of unity and progress.
The honor lies on the leadership of the party, the PDP. Court has ruled that the primary conductor cannot stand. So the honor lies on the leadership of the party to put his house in order and to make sure that whatever they want to do follow electoral guidelines.
I believe it is God that is speaking for the PDP. Because reality, sincerity, genuinity, transparency, and honestly, you see, when you are upright, you will be just. It's even in the Bible says it. So the judgment is just the fact of the matter. We all saw it. We knew that that would not go too far. When people that are original delegates were expunged from the list.
There is no means to go through back door before you can win. Let your handwork, what you've done, let it push you out that you are the real person which the people want. So that's what we are trying to define today. We are not just trying to say, okay, this is the candidate we want to carry. If we carry this candidate through fraudulent act or election fraud, how are we going to win?
In responding to issues around, we want to assure our people, all PDP members in Ekiti State, and the general public, especially the Ekiti people who have been calling, who are concerned to see when they heard about the outcome of this election yet again. We want to assure them that there's no cause for alarm. There's no cause for alarm. Your favorite candidate, Dr. Wololuyede, will be on the ballot. And by the grace of God, we are winning this election. And so I want to assure all the PDP members, the leadership, and the general public that we are not unaware of the plan to turn Ekiti State to a one-party state. We are not unaware. Several moves have been made. This is just one of them. To shut out PDP from participating in 2026 elections. You know, INEC has come out to say that exclusion of PDP from the list is not their doing. They have said to the public that they supervised and witnessed PDP Congress, and they even wrote to their report that showed truly Dr. Wololuyede won the primaries of PDP. We want to assure our people that the judgment will be appealed, and we are sure that common sense will prevail.
And that's it on the local news. We'll now take a short break. When we come back, we'll give you some stories in the foreign scene. Welcome back. In the foreign scene, Bill and Hillary Clinton were set to testify starting Tuesday in the U.S. Congress investigation into the notorious sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, with the Republicans warning that they could face contempt charges if they fail to appear. The Democratic former president and ex-secretary of state have been ordered to give a closed-door depositions before the House Oversight Committee, which is probing Epstein's connection to powerful figures and how information about his crimes was handled. The pressure comes as President Donald Trump faces a mounting calls for transparency after the Justice Department angered his supporters, many of whom believed the financier was murdered in a cover-up by releasing only a sliver of case files nearly a month past the legal deadline. Bill Clinton is scheduled to appear on Tuesday morning, with Hillary Clinton following on Wednesday, but neither has confirmed attendance, according to the U.S. media reports. And if the pair refuse to comply, a contempt resolution would need approval from the full House before being referred to the Justice Department. The criminal contempt of Congress is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail and fines of up to $100,000, though the prosecution hinged on the department's willingness to pursue the case. Greenland's Prime Minister has said that his people would choose Denmark over the U.S. if they were to ask to make such a choice here and now. Jens Frederik Nielsen's remark at the joint news conference with Denmark's Prime Minister is the strongest by a representative of the semi-autonomous Danish territory since the U.S. President Donald Trump renewed his plan to annex it. Trump says that the U.S. needs to own the Greenland to defend against Russia and China. The White House has suggested buying the island, but not ruled out the use of force to annex it. Denmark is a fellow NATO member, and Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen that has warned that military force will spell the end of the transatlantic defense alliance. And let's take a short break. Well, we'll come back. We'll give you some stories in sport. In sport, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has named the Ghanaian referee Daniel Ni-Layer to officiate Nigeria's semi-final game against Morocco at the 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON. CAF released the list of officials for the clash on Tuesday and named others for the high-stakes game at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium. Layer will be assisted by South Africans Zakhele Siwele and Lesotho's Soro Patson. Mozambican Arsenio Mringwal was appointed as the third assistant referee. Rwanda's Samuel Wikunde will be the fourth official for the game. Africa's football body also named Tom Agbonjile of South Africa, Haitham Girat of Tunisia, and Stephen Yembe of Kenya as officials in the video assistant referee VAR. And Nigerian star Alex Iwobi on Tuesday hailed coach Eric Chelle for creating a team spirit which has taken the Super Eagles to the semi-finals of the African Cup of Nations, and only 2 months after their dreams of World Cup qualification were ended agonizingly. The Nigerian take on AFCON host Morocco in Rabat on Wednesday, looking to continue the prolific form that has carried them to the last four. They reached the final of the last Cup of Nations 2 years ago in the Ivory Coast before losing to the hosts, while Iwobi also played in the side that reached the semi-finals in 2019. But he said a happy environment off the pitch, despite reports of rows with the National Football Federation over bonuses, was now helping bring out the very best in him and a team in its prime. Nigeria limped through their qualifying campaign for the World Cup and saw the dreams of making it to the finals go up in smoke with a playoff defeat on penalties against the Democratic Republic of Congo in Rabat in November. And 3 years after the last appeared together, Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah meet again on Wednesday on opposing sides as Senegal and Egypt clash for a place in the African Cup of Nations final. The last four showdown in the Moroccan city of Tangiers will be the first time the former Liverpool teammates have shared a pitch since the Anfield club lost to Real Madrid in the Champions League final in May 2022. Shortly after that, Mane left for Bayern Munich before moving to Al Nassr in the Saudi Pro League a year later, and Salah meanwhile has been heavily linked with a move to Saudi Arabia in the near future, but remains for now at Liverpool, despite falling out of favor with coach Arne Slot before coming to a Cup of Nations. The Egypt captain is a man on mission in Morocco, having scored 4 goals and 4 appearances on the Pharaohs' run to the semi-finals as he targets winning AFCON for the first time. Salah, who turns 34 in June, is running out of time to win a major international honor with his country, having suffered the agony of 2 final defeats in the competition. And Michael Carrick has been named the Manchester United's new caretaker manager until the end of the season, with the club set to make an official announcement shortly. Renowned transfer expert Fabrizio Romano confirmed the development, revealing that an agreement had been in place since yesterday and has now been fully concluded, including arrangements for Carrick's backroom staff. Michael Carrick signs in as a new Manchester United caretaker manager until the end of the season. Verbal agreement since yesterday and now sorted in all details, plus the backroom staff also. Manchester United official announcements to follow next. Romano wrote, and